Folks are getting tired of Kamala Prompter. We want her to answer questions, explain her sudden flip-flops, why no policy analysis on her website, why the change of accents when she gets in front of black folk, and why did she steal Trump's no tax on tips plan? And she can bring all the effeminate black men she wants to shame us, Roland Martin, Ricky Smiley. She can bring all the miserable women to shame us, Joy Reid, Sonny Hostin. We're not voting for her. We want a president who can speak to the people. We do not want a self-checkout president. We got all that and more next.
Yeah, so I just wanted to come on here and get some shit off my chest. Because for about the past, I don't know, 2 weeks maybe, I've seen a lot of black celebrities and media personalities and so-called journalists make it their business to try to shame and denigrate and shun and insult the intelligence of black men because they don't want to vote for Kamala Harris. They are actively out here villainizing black men for not wanting to vote for Kamala Harris. And I've said it before, and I will say it again. They think they own us. They think they own our fucking vote. They want us to believe that we have some sort of obligation to them, that when it's right for them, we should play identity politics and vote for her because she's black. And now they're pushing the narrative that we're dumb, that we're uneducated, we're misinformed, we don't know what the fuck's going on. And the crazy thing about it is, it's the complete opposite. The people who are running away from Kamala Harris are the people who are informing themselves, who are researching, that actually know what the fuck is going on and just not letting themselves be told any goddamn thing. That's the reality of the situation. So, you know, it's astonishing to me to see it though, where you have these people, they sending out these black women and these bootlicking ass men, right? The Van Joneses, the Bacardi sellers, the Roland Martins, right? The DL Hugleys, even Plies, and it's a whole bunch of them who are trying to shame black men for thinking for themselves, because that's all they doing. We're thinking for ourselves. They're just like when a slave owner didn't want you to learn how to read, because once you learn how to read, you have knowledge, and knowledge is power. And that's the problem. No, watch MSNBC. Don't do no thinking. Let us tell you what to think. Huh? Don't you want to see a black woman president? Don't you want to see somebody who belonged to a sorority? Don't you want to see a black woman get sworn in by a black woman on Martin Luther King's birthday? A whole bunch of token shit that don't mean a goddamn thing. That's what they want us to vote for. Y'all out your motherfucking minds, man. I was listening to Ricky Smiley. Ricky Smiley talking about in regards to black men, they not doing the right research. What? Who the f you talking to, Ricky Smiley? They not doing the right research. So because we're thinking for ourselves, we're not doing the right research. We're supposed to listen to you. That's the right research. And we're going to just keep seeing more and more of this shit. Joy Reid telling black people, you're going to look weird. What? We in the 6th grade? Don't nobody give a fuck about looking weird. We worrying about the issues, the economy, our communities, our children, our futures. What the f you talking about looking weird? See, that's the dumb shit. See, that's for weak-minded people. And they just going to keep going, bro. You get all the narratives is going to keep going. Sellout, coon, traitor, you hate black women and all that cool. Bacardi and Van Jones up on CNN crying and boo-hooing. Don't nobody give a f. Too smart to fall for that shit, man. So y'all could keep rolling that shit out. We gonna keep standing 10 motherfucking toes down. The f out of here. Love the black man until he wants to think for himself, till he wants to form his own opinion, until he stops seeing himself as a victim, and then he becomes the enemy. And I'm watching this happen in real time. It's happening right now. And all you got to do is keep your eyes open, pay attention, and you can see it clear as day. It is real. So I'm saying all that to say, if you an actor, a rapper, a comedian, or anything else, you're not going to dictate our decision by calling us names and trying to make us feel bad.
What's up, everybody? It's Wednesday, and it's time for Pop and Politics. We are talking about the latest in hot topics, news, and entertainment. I'm KJ, along with Shelly E. It's the two of us here tonight, to the hard way. So the other ladies are off tonight, but as I always say, join the conversation by leaving a comment on YouTube or Twitter. We will check the comments periodically throughout the show. And don't just comment, subscribe. Guys, you can check us out here, of course, on YouTube. We're also on Rumble. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify under the same name, Pop and Politics. Guys, we are an independent media, so your super chats go a long way in helping us produce conservative content. Any amount is appreciated. We are not just a podcast, we are a movement of God-fearing, truth-seeking, America-loving people that understand we're living in urgent times. And there's a target on our backs because we choose freedom. Yet, we continue to stand. Join us, join our rallying call, and subscribe. That way we can amplify this rallying call for freedom. All right, Shelly, let's set it off. So we are supposed to have a special guest with us tonight, Jamal Green. He is the gentleman that had an altercation recently with Roland Martin. Roland Martin, right? Roland Martin. He's running a little behind, but he should be following. He should be joining us shortly. But while we wait for him, I want to talk about the bias in the media. So you saw what we showed in the beginning of the show. It was a gentleman who is just getting tired. A lot of people, especially within the Black community, are getting tired of us. We are supposed to vote for Kamala Harris. And I think people are starting to wake up to realize that she has not put any policy issues forward. She has not updated her website, and they're getting tired of it. What are your thoughts on there, Shelly?
Well, I've been tired of it, like many people, many Americans have been tired of it. But I remember the great Herman Cain said, he wrote a book, They Think You're Stupid. And that's exactly what that man, Corey Yeshua, was talking about. They think you're stupid, particularly Black people who are used like pawns every election cycle, hell, every damn year. You know, they throw out all these little tidbits, they throw out all the little goodies, and then, you know, many Black people go running, yeah, give us free, give us free. Kamala Harris, the Democrat Party, has been hobbling, if you will, literally hobbling, cutting people off at the feet, cutting off their feet when they try to run from the plantation. Like that man said, teaching them or telling them they can't read. If they learn to read, there are all kinds of names. This has been going on since basically the Democrat Party began, and it's nothing new. They do it because it works, and because it works, they do it. Same, that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing they do is just blatant lie. I want to start out with Kamala Harris. She had a rally recently. She did two rallies, one in Detroit and one in PA. Take a look at this clip. This is clip number one.
You better thank a union member for sick leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave. You better thank a union member for vacation time. Because what we know, thank unions for sick leave, thank unions for paid family leave, thank unions for your vacation time.
Wow. So again, that was her in Detroit at a rally a couple of days ago. And the second clip was her speaking in Pittsburgh just a few hours after the Detroit rally. So she's giving these fake accents depending on who she's talking to. It appears when she's talking to urban crowds, she tries to have this, fake around the way girl accent. But then when she's talking to predominantly white crowds, she goes back to her Valley Girl way. So, I mean, is this fake or is she adjusting to the crowd?
It's nothing new under the sun. It's fake. The Democratic Party has been doing this. Hillary Clinton's done it. Obama has done it. Bill Clinton has done it. It's nothing new. But what I hate more than those fake accents is that we're going to have to hear this same damn tired line from now until the election, because this is a script and she has largely remembered it. If you look at her eyes, when you notice, I think in the second clip, when she's saying the little fakery,
You better think.
and look at her eyes off to the side. She's glancing off to the side to see if the crowd is reacting, which gives her the confirmation that, oh, this must be a line I got to keep using. So now we got to hear this crap, this fakery until the election. Lord, please shut her mouth. Now, you know, I'm all for free speech, but this is one damn woman. I want somebody to put a sock in it.
Yeah, it's so phony. It's like, you know, if you can tell that she didn't grow up in like an urban environment. We are here, we're in Baltimore. You know, it's just, this is our natural vernacular. This is just us. You know, she is from California. I always say West Coast California people have that sort of Valley Girl,
Yes,
you know, type
almost
of
nasally,
yeah,
almost,
kind of like, that's fine. Just be you. You shouldn't have to change up. And I think this is why people they appreciate Trump, because from the day he came down that escalator, he has been regular old Trump. And you can look at videos from in the 80s to now, it's the same Trump. And that is something we can appreciate, because we know, you know, people are looking for authenticity.
Yeah. With Trump, the thing about Trump, what he personifies in a way, he does personify authenticity and real. But with the advent of social media, the internet even, just entertainment in general, many people don't know real from fake. Yeah. They think what they see on the cameras, and again, being giddy to death, right? Laughing and entertained, tickle bone to death, no end to it. They think that's real. They think they really know people that way. So when real does present itself, you know, oh my gosh, this is, you know, it's like that. It's a facade. It's a mirage. And sadly, we have millions of Americans who don't know real from fake, who don't know truth from falsities.
Absolutely. And the same with Kamala's surrogates. And so that brings us to this next clip. This is Jamal Green. He is an activist in Chicago, and he had posted, I believe he posted something on Twitter, and Roland Martin, who is a surrogate, I mean, I wouldn't even call him a surrogate. He is like a babe on Kamala's tent.
He's a bitch.
Yeah. And we're gonna show you how bitch babe he is. But he did he came at Jamal Green on his show and really talked nasty about him, just because I believe he was saying that he wanted to look at other options. He wasn't just going to roll over and vote for Kamala Harris. He wanted to hear more about her policies. He wants to hear more about authenticity and things like that. And Roland Martin, of course, went in on him. Well, Roland Martin was at a DNC what do you call it? DNC
convention
event,
or something.
And he approached Roland Martin. Take a look at this. This is clip number 10.
Hold on 1 second. No, ain't no. Hold on.
I gave you enough. I gave you enough. Yesterday, you tweeted about. You tweeted. You called me dumb. You called me dumb.
Okay, so that was a small snippet of his confrontation with Roland Martin. We have Jamal Green here with us today to talk about that, and then also just the election and what he's doing in Chicago. How are you tonight, Jamal?
All right, I'm so good. How are you?
Hi, how are you? Thanks for being with us.
Yes, thank you so much for coming on. Yes, so before we get into what happened there, the altercation, or I would say confrontation, Can you just tell the audience who you are and what you do and things like that in Chicago?
Well, I've been a community activist since I was, a young teenager, 14 years old, and I've always been one who pushed for justice and liberation for our communities, and pushing our communities to grow. Especially because I came from the roughest community in the city of Chicago, where I saw many of my friends be killed. It was put in me that, instead of leave Chicago, that I wanted to invest back in it and make sure that we had proper leadership to move forward policies to change the dynamics of our communities. Young people, are hurting throughout our communities. We got 20,000 homeless young people. I watch many of my friends be killed, be miseducated in schools, have mental health problems, and not have support. And so it was always my mission to fight for better communities, and which is why I ran for mayor of Chicago, because there has never been a voice from these very communities that have experienced all of the trauma to actually be on the main stage. And so that was the one of the biggest reasons why I ran for mayor. So I'm very one of the biggest populists in Chicago streets. And people know me for my work. I fought Chase Bank, the largest bank in the world. I made them give back $1 billion to the South and West Sides as well a few years ago. So we have a lot of results on changing the dynamics in the city.
Great.
And I've been on the front line standing on business.
Oh, absolutely. That's awesome. And so how did you come to confront Roland Martin in that exchange that we showed a little bit ago?
Well, Roly Poly was on his show talking about me and calling me stupid because I didn't agree with his ideology. And I was saying that Black people need to ask for more because we deserve more. And it was Roly Poly who started tweeting about me, as well as doing a show calling me out. Now, this is the same man who had me on this show years ago and talking about how great I am as a young man and all the things I'm doing in Chicago and highlighting me. And now, because I'm independent and I'm speaking up to say that we need common sense and we need real policies, and the fact that these border issues, the border problems, the border crisis is a real crisis, especially for cities like Chicago and what we're experiencing, and that Kamala's policies are going to benefit immigrant families more than us. I said a lot of different things that Roland didn't like. So, I guess he just picked me, just as he picked Tyrese and picked anybody else to go after, but me, I wasn't standing for it because I knew you was coming to Chicago. And so my thing was, all right, listen, I'm on the ground. So I don't sit on Twitter and play Twitter games and just sit and do a show. I'm actually in these streets every day. And so
you in the streets too, Jamal, like Kamala Harris, right? You really are in the streets.
Yeah.
So
right.
thanks again for being. I have a question, Jamal.
Yeah.
What is it that you offended Roland with, or how did you offend him? Because he seems to do this a lot. He's done it to King Randall and other Black people who are doing things, particularly with our young people in their communities. But let me ask you this. What were you going to do to him had he given you his face? I hope you were going to punch it.
Well, I think first, because of the setting and because all of it was folks there that I respected, I was trying to be respectful and have a conversation. Obviously, you saw that he was too scared, so he put a woman in front of him and didn't say anything. He just sat there silent. You would think that a man that is his age would say, all right, Jamal, come in the hallway and let's have a conversation. Or, he would try to de-escalate to try to have a conversation with me. But he was so scared to defend his bull crap that he put a woman in front of him to start yelling security, and he sat there like a church mouse. It's utterly disgusting. Don't sit on your show confidently calling me stupid. You called me three different names in 15 seconds on this show, but yet when you saw me in person the next day, you had not one thing to say to me.
Right.
Yeah, I want to ask you, because we see this a lot, especially with independent-minded Black people. Surrogates within the Democrat Party, also elected Democrat officials, they will shame you or shame us for not voting Democrat, for not falling in line immediately when they decide to push someone up to run. Right. What are your thoughts on that? Because we are seeing what appears to be, and we showed a clip earlier in the program, Black men specifically are choosing to say, pump the brakes, on
Right.
Kamala Harris and
Yeah.
say, look, I'm not voting with you until you show me your policies, talk about why you are not going to be hard on the border,
Yeah.
talk about how you're not talking about lowering taxes, talk about how, with the crime in our cities and our communities, you are not, supporting, strong, criminal policies or police. So why do they shame us like that? And why is that okay? Why does it come off okay?
Yeah, I mean, it's totally disrespectful. The Democrats have benefited too many years off the fact that black men are not in the communities, and so I think when you look at the communities and you see how whether by the system or at their own hands, black men have not been in the households and in community structures for many years now, and you have majority of these families are led by single black women, in which those are the Democrat voters, right? And so they're benefiting off of the fact that black men are not utilizing their voices, and now all of a sudden they are. Now Democrats have a problem with it, right? If black men step up and say we deserve something, and they are looking to provide something for their communities, we should be listening. And I think that the Democrats, they've always had a problem with black men. They do not like black men, and that's why they treat us as they do. It is not bad for us to say, hey, we deserve more from either party. It is not bad to say, hey, we deserve an agenda from either party. It is not bad for us to say that. It's a transaction. Same way the Jewish community, they don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, because they're going to spend their money and use their power to make sure that you're pro-Israel. Same way the Asian community going to step up and say, we getting hate over this COVID. We need to make sure that we got an anti-Asian hate bill, and you do it within the next week. Why do we, black people, always have to be shamed because we don't want to be on the Democratic plantation? Or even if we are going to vote Democrat, we can't criticize them? Even those who are Democrat can't even criticize. Me as an independent, I do what I want to do, right? But, at the end of the day, they don't like folks who are independent, have independent voices.
Right.
And because they know that the independent voices usually don't side with their policies. And we got to see what's going on in our actual communities. Right here in Chicago, we're spending millions of dollars each day on folks who just crossed the border and said they were seeking asylum because of Biden's executive orders back in February of 2021. We have to be honest about what's going on here. Now it is sucking our city budgets dry. The city is in $1 billion deficit right now, and how to find $1 billion. The state is stopped. They don't want to spend any more money on this. We spent almost $2 billion here in this state in the last couple of years on these folks, and the folks in these communities are starving. What are we saying to the actual residents and citizens? We're slapping them in the face.
So my question, Jamal, is the opposite of that question. Why do so many black people continue to fall for this pressure, this group conformity, if you will, this groupthink? Why? And still get nothing in return for it. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think what happens is the majority of black people don't vote. Same way as majority of Americans don't vote. And I think that the small percentage of black people who control the vote are those who were in the civil rights movement, or those who have been, the seniors. Right here in Chicago, when I ran for mayor, everyone that voted was 55 and over, right? Majority of people that voted. So what's happening is you have a large group of seniors who really play into what they're saying on TV, and that's all they're doing, because they're not going outside, they're not going into the communities, they're sitting in front of their TV watching whatever CNN is telling them, or watching Roly Poly if they're watching Roly Poly. And so, you have these people who are kind of being controlled to go and vote for Democrats and keep on teaching each other that that's what they're supposed to do, and using fear tactics. While those who are under 55 who don't believe in the party, they just don't vote, right? And if they did vote, it would actually, I think, shift every election in this country.
So speaking of voting, and then many of the things that you are mentioning are exactly what we're seeing happening right here in Baltimore City.
Yeah.
We are a city that is run by Democrats, has been run by Democrats for decades. Before I was born, before Shirley was born, it's been run by Democrats from the top all the way to the bottom.
Yep.
And our city is not thriving.
Yep.
But my question to you is, right now, at least from my perspective, I don't see how a black man, specifically men that are married and, family minded, how there is a space for you in the Democrat Party. We see that they don't advocate for or support traditional families. We see that they are pushing this idea of independent black woman, I don't need a man, abortion on demand. And so where is there still an actual space for a heterosexual black man in the Democrat Party?
No, I don't think there are policies that are made for us, and I think that, and that's why I'm independent, because there is not. And I think what happens is the black men that are supporting the party are those who are shamed by black women that are supporting the Democrats, and those black women are saying, well, you need to support and protect black women. So if we're telling you to vote Democrat, then that's how to support us. And they're kind of shaming black men into that. But if black men who are actually critically think and actually look at the policies that are being moved forward, then they can actually make sound judgments and decisions that they wouldn't like. And the reality is when you look at the racial wealth gap in this country with black people, the wealth gap is continuing to get larger. The home ownership rate has been the same since FHA was instituted in '68. We know that there are not policies that are being moved forward where black men can actually have sustainable lives and be able to take care of their families. And they're not talking that language because they don't have to if they only say, we're fighting for women's rights and we're fighting for abortions. They don't have to say that if they know that women will step up and vote for them. They don't have to move forward policies that actually help with the family structure and economic policies that can help move forward these communities. And that's the biggest problem we're seeing on that side of the party, for sure.
Oh, okay.
I was going to quickly say, I want to acknowledge our super chatters. I know you guys are super chatting there.
Thank you.
We have Kofi 19 says, shout out to Jamal for exposing Roland Martin as a cowardly internet bully. That was an iconic moment. Absolutely. Thank you, Kofi. Kung Fu CJ.
Thank you, Kung Fu.
Yes, says Martin is a punk and he would not make it in Southeast DC where I grew up. Yeah, no, he would not.
We got
Guitar Cat, thank you. Says if you can't handle a mean tweet, you shouldn't be voting.
There you go.
Okay, yeah. Oh wow, thank you. This is a member. We have our Freedom Seekers memberships now, so you can join us in a way to support us. You go right to the front of the YouTube page and
say join.
Yes, and so that's
Respendo 5 something. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for a new member.
Okay, Jamal, I got a challenging question for you here.
Yeah.
All right. So, you said the Democrat Party, it doesn't really speak to heterosexual men, black men, family men, traditional things like that, right? And the women are largely speaking or maybe belittling the men into submission, if you will.
Right.
Well, does the black community, do we have a lot of black men bitches?
What?
I mean, I'm just asking. I say, where are the men? And I'm not saying that to put down anyone. I'm just asking the opposite question.
I understand exactly what you're saying. And I think that has been the case over this past generation, is that you have more black men who have feminine tendencies. And that's because you had single mother households that were raising these men. And so we have to play, we have to put blame on both sides. Black men have to do better and do more in our communities to take back their communities, to take back their families, and take back their children, to make sure that their children can actually grow up the way that they need to grow up. We cannot keep living in a society where we have single mother households and they're raising the children, because we'll never be successful. Exactly. So yes, because these men have been raised by single mothers without male representation. you know, you have more men that are definitely more feminine, and you got more of these men who don't want to provide and protect for families anymore. And we gotta definitely challenge that and bring that back, and really create the cultural foundation needed in our communities. And that's why I think, you know, my only problem on the other side, on the Republican side, is they don't embrace certain policies that they should, especially if they see Democrats not embracing those policies, or Republicans should embrace those policies. For example, you know, they love to use the felon title on Donald Trump a lot, right? Well, you know, over a third of black men are felons, right? In this country, people don't know that there's a large group of felons in the black community. He should embrace that a little bit more and talk about how those who do their time and off papers, that he can provide for assistance for businesses and assistance for job programs and trade programs and things of that sort. Embrace that. They're using a felon title. We'll use it for your own benefit, because black men are already want to go away from the party. They just need some policies and some language that can make them a little more comfortable.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I wish we had more time. We want to have you back on to talk about these policies. And because you're right, they do need to talk about that more on the Republican side as well. Where can people find you to reach out to you if they want to assist you with any of your endeavors?
Yes, people can go anywhere at Jamal Green, at JAYMAL Green as the color. I got and that's on any social media, or Jamal Green on. You can find me anywhere. Just type it in, and you know, we're preparing for. I had an 8 p.m. Zoom where hundreds of folks join every week for Wealthy Wednesdays, where we teach people how to be empowered through ownership, and we're a one-stop shop to help folks become homeowners, help folks invest back into their neighborhoods, and buy multi-units and things of that sort. So we know that. If we help as many folks become owners in their communities, the mindset will shift, and they'll care more about what's going on in their blocks, and hold accountable their politicians. Because my property value just doubled in my last assessed value last week, and so our property tax is going up, and you know, I'm gonna be down there banging on somebody's door soon. So it's important to create more people who have that mindset shift. And we also have a program right now where you can turn in your Section 8 voucher for $20,000 down on the property, right? So there are folks who on Section 8, you can turn in your voucher and get $20,000 down to buy a piece of property, so that you can wing off of government assistance and actually create you some generational wealth. So we're doing a lot of great work here in the city of Chicago and expanding across the country. And I thank all of you, both of you, for the work that you are doing. And I can't wait to come back on your show to talk more about it.
All right. Well, we definitely have to get your information because Giovanni Patterson here, right in Baltimore City, he says a lot of the things you're saying. He actually ran for city council president here. So we got to link up. This is what we talk about on this show a lot, just building community amongst like-minded individuals.
There you go.
So certainly.
Jamal, wait a minute. Stay tuned. Well, we'll contact you, but we're going to have something going on in October, and we would love to have you there.
I would love to be there, and you know, this is what it's about. We all must come together, because we all want better neighborhoods and a better future for our children. And I think that's one of the biggest pieces that be missing with you know, the Democratic Party and many politicians, is that their policies and how they speak is they only speak for themselves. And we are raising. I got 3 young boys. We got to think about the next generation and our kids. And if we don't have policies that represent them, and all we have is other ethnic groups that can walk across the border and get access to all of these resources, while they aren't prioritized, we got to fight for them. And it's important for us to all band together. We can all disagree. We can all, you know, debate all day long. But one thing we know is we want a better country for the actual citizens. And you know, we just may have different pathways of getting there, but we're gonna work together, and we're gonna make it the all the way forward.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you.
All right. Yes. Thank you so much. We would connect with you definitely again.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And thank you to all the viewers as well.
All right. Take care. All right, guys. So that was again Jamal Green. He brought it to Roland Martin, and like he should have, stood up for himself and pushed back against his nonsense. So we want to have him on again. So I want to move along to. So one thing we as Jamal discussed, the many of in the Black community vote Democrat automatically. And a lot of it has to do is with they don't have truthful, factual information like we do. So we are, dialed in to all of the news and we fact check everything and things like that. But most people don't have time to do that. And most people aren't in the politics like we are. But it's very difficult when you have a biased media. Oh. And that is what we have here right now. The mainstream media is very biased. They are now, as we've said many times on this show, enemies of the state. They are shills for Kamala Harris. And I want to get you guys to look at this clip. This is, we talked about this a little bit over the weekend. Meet the Press had Kristen Welker did 2 interviews back to back. Actually, she interviewed Representative Khanna, who was there on the Democrat side, and she interviewed Tom Cotton, who was there as on the Republican side. And I want you guys to see how the difference in the way she interviewed these 2 individuals. Take a look here. This is her interviewing Representative Khanna, clip 3. What's up, guys? We are the ladies of pop and politics, and guess what? We have merchandise. We got merch. Check it out. We have a website, www.popandpoliticslive, where you guys can pick up the latest merchandise that we have here. Here's something I use this every morning for my cup of tea. It's a Pop and Politics mug. Yeah, I drink every morning. Yes. And I love it. So definitely check it out. We've got some cute shirts on there. Shelly, you have a shirt there that you love, right? Yes. Cute shirt. And so definitely check it out. Again, www.popandpoliticslive.com. Appreciate the support. All right.
Go there now.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the interview that Vice President Harris had this week. She talked about some of those policy reversals that have now been in the spotlight. She previously supported Medicare for all. She now doesn't. She favored a ban on fracking. She now doesn't. She once argued against criminalizing illegal border crossing. She now says, quote, there should have to be consequences. She said when she defended these policy positions that her values have not changed, even though her policies have. Why should people believe what she says now?
Well, first of all, I think she came off with confidence, calmness, and non-defensiveness. And I hope she'll do more of these interviews. I actually agree with your predecessor, Chuck Todd, that she should go on these weekly shows. She's very competent. And as running for president, have her views out there and take the hard questions. But let's go issue by issue on fracking. President Biden ran in 2020 on a position saying that there were going to be no new fracking leases on federal land. Our federal land is sacred, and that we were going to protect that. He did not say that we were going to ban fracking in private lands. In states like Pennsylvania, most of the fracking is on private lands. And Vice President Harris ran on that position. In the vice presidential debate, she said that Joe Biden and her were not going to end fracking on private land. So my assumption is this is the same position. She's not going to have new leases on federal land, but she's going to be fine with fracking as a transition on private land. That was what they ran on in 2020.
Well, let's delve into one of the policy positions, another one, more specifically, her initial support and now opposition to a single-payer health care system. You support
I do.
that. Let's play something that Senator Bernie Sanders told Politico just last month.
We need Medicare for all. It's not her view, nor is it President Biden's point of view. And you know what? I think I'm right and they're wrong. But what am I going to do?
Are you disappointed that Vice President Harris is not running on an agenda that includes Medicare for all?
Well, I strongly support Medicare for all. I support getting
of abortion front and center this week. Donald Trump has gone from calling himself throughout the arc of time very pro-choice at one point. He's more recently bragged about overturning Roe v. Wade. He now says he's going to vote to keep Florida's 6-week abortion ban in place, a law he once described as terrible. How can people trust Trump on this issue when he keeps shifting his position?
Well, the president's been very clear. He does not support a nationwide abortion law. In fact, there's only one candidate in this race who supports a nationwide abortion law. It's Kamala Harris. And we know what it is because the Senate proposed it and we voted on it. It is radical and extreme. It would require taxpayer funding of abortion up to the moment of birth. That's what she stands for. She's the only one in this race calling for a nationwide abortion law, something that is wildly unpopular.
Just to be clear, the bill you're talking to requires that there be exceptions for health through the end of pregnancy, not that all abortions be legal in all cases.
But President Trump has said he supports exceptions when a woman's health is at risk, when she's been raped or been the victim of incest. And the vast majority of Americans support those as well. But this law is radical. It would overturn 50 years of precedent and require taxpayer funding for abortion, even in these cases.
Well, taxpayer funding for abortion is currently, of course, illegal under the Hyde Amendment. And just to be clear, abortions later in pregnancy, 21 weeks and after, are extremely rare.
Well, if they're so rare,
in the case of a health emergency.
If they're so rare, why won't Kamala Harris say, then fine, we shouldn't allow them with those exceptions?
Because
if they're
of the
so
concern
rare.
for health emergencies.
But if you have those exceptions, Kristen, if you have those exceptions, it will account for those rare health emergencies. So why won't she say it?
But that is what the law does. It says up to the time of viability with exceptions. States are allowed to have exceptions if there are health emergencies.
Kamala Harris voted against the Born Alive Victims Protection Act.
She did not.
Yes, she did.
Senator,
I was there.
She voted against.
I was there. She voted against it. Kristen, if these cases are so rare,
she voted
in the
against
late
advancing
term,
the bill.
If these cases are so rare in late-term pregnancy, then why won't she say, you know what, we should prohibit these with exceptions for the mother's life?
Yeah.
Why won't she say that? Because she is a radical on abortion.
Just to be clear, she voted against advancing the bill twice. When she was senator, she's called it extreme. Let me ask you about something else. I interviewed J.D. Vance last week. He told me Donald Trump would veto a federal abortion ban if it came to his desk. Now Trump is not committing to that. Do you?
Wow. Do you all see how she was pressing Tom Cotton and she did not do anywhere close to Representative Khanna?
When she started off with Representative Khanna, notice how she named 2 or 3 policies, issues that Kamala Harris has flip-flopped on, right? And notice her demeanor. When she gets to Senator Cotton, she talks about Donald Trump being the villain because he's flipped, but nothing of the sort for Kamala.
But she asked him, the way she framed it with Trump, she says, how can people trust him?
Right.
She didn't do that about Kamala.
And she said she
just
flipped.
let it go.
She flipped. One of the things that the left does very well is that they don't just disagree with their opponents, they villainize. They make their opponents mean, big, and scary, like they're evil, like they're some kind of big animals. That's what they do first. So that way, if you can shape them in the eyes of the public as this big bad wolf, then of course you are right to defend yourself against the big bad wolf. This is what they do well. And she's playing the game of heads I win, tails you lose. There's no way in the world that Senator Cotton, in her mind, was going to win, because no matter what he said, it was okay for Kamala to do it, so Kamala was going to win. And then when he's saying, no, this is what she did, Kristen, she's going to say, oh no. Well, then what about Trump? Again, heads I win, tails you lose.
And then the crazy part about it is Trump was not flip-flopping. Trump just pushed the abortion to the states.
Exactly.
He has said he is still pro-life, but he believes that it is a state-by-state issue. It should not be a federal issue.
That's it.
Kamala has totally flipped on fracking. She's totally flipped on the border. She stole Trump.
She flipped on the tips
thing. And she didn't question him on any of it. She just skipped to the next thing with Bernie Sanders. This is disgraceful.
Not one bit.
This is disgraceful.
Not one bit. And if you are, again, we've been saying this almost every week since she flipped the script and came out to be the presidential nominee, or the candidate, I should say. If you don't see this media, I don't even know if bias captures the real meaning of what is going on.
No.
I think what I'm calling this is another scam. They are trying their best to cheat, steal. Remember, the thief comes to cheat, steal, and destroy. Kill, steal, and destroy. And that's what they are doing. They are hell-bent on getting this woman. She's not really hiding from the media. They are hiding her. And that's what they're doing.
And that takes me to this next clip. So this is what the narrative that they're not even questioning Kamala Harris. They're not asking her to support her flip-flop. We've posted videos on previous shows showing how she was vehemently against fracking. She was vehemently against criminalizing border crossings. And so now she has totally done a 180 and the media has gone silent on that. And now they're trying to paint it like she's running a flawless campaign, which brings me to this disgraceful woman on The View, Allyssa. This is clip 7. Take a look.
Momentum is on Kamala Harris's side right now, but I've been talking to a lot of pollsters, and I know how we feel about the polls. They say this: we live in such an era of polarization that she's running a flawless campaign. She could ride out on a Pegasus with bald eagles and a sword, and she's not going to pull 10 points ahead because people tend to vote against the other party and with the jersey that they wear. That said, she's running really smart. I was at the convention for CNN. I closed my eyes at one point and I was like, this could be Mitt Romney speaking. When she talked about supporting Israel's right to defend itself, standing with Ukraine and allies, she did say she does not support—
Sounds like Biden.
She does not support banning fracking. There's other ways to address climate change, but also care about the energy sector and the jobs that they create. And she's talking about onshoring American jobs and rebuilding the middle class. So this is not how she ran in 2020 when she ran on some things that were more to the left. She realizes the majority of this country is closer to the center. Donald Trump's too far right and too extreme for them. And if she keeps running this way for the next 60 plus days, I think she can pull it off.
Why?
Yeah.
Really?
What does she say? She sounds closer to Mitt Romney, which means that these are Republican ideas that she is flipping and stealing or whatever. Kamala Harris, look, to her dumbness, I'm not even going to give her the credit that she's aware. To her dumbness, all she knows how to do is read a script, read a teleprompter, and repeat. So in that sense, I'm not even going to say she knows what's going on to that degree. But she's stealing the script. She's stealing the issues, if you will, from the Republican side that have been out there for a long time. And the media, they are hiding her. They don't want her to come out. They don't want her to get off script because she's going to ruin it for them. The media are the real culprits in this environment right now. Our media, and they have been scamming and scheming, hiding, covering up, probably before the scamdemic, but certainly since 2020.
Yeah. First of all, Allyssa is supposed to be the one conservative on The View. She is, you know what she reminds me of? A trashy hooker. Because what she has done, she has sold herself out to The View and CNN, and she's not supporting anything conservative. She's on there just as a conservative in name only, a Republican in name only, just so she can say, I'm a Republican who doesn't like Trump.
Exactly.
And she really is a trashy hooker. She's trash because she's selling herself out for money. Right. That's what she's doing. Flawless campaign. Smart campaign.
It's not even a campaign.
She hasn't even updated her website. She has not even updated her website. She did a 16-minute interview after over 30 days of silence when she was appointed as the Democrat nominee. And a flawless campaign. She has not had to answer any questions.
Zero.
Nothing.
Zero. And she walked off of that, out of that car into the airplane. She, with her earbuds, just like we have in here tonight. She did the same thing, pretending she was talking to someone. She is phony. She is a fake. But the media, again, I blame the media even more because the media are not even considering or even thinking about the American people who have a right to know what her policies are, what the issues are, to hear her from her own mouth, her own brain, to flesh out and issue the consequences, the pros and cons. They don't even think highly of American people enough to do that on the behalf of this presidency, whether you agree with Trump or not. We have a right to hear it. And our media are just as scammy and schemy as the Democrat Party. As a matter of fact, they are an extension of the Democratic Party.
Yeah. And I'll say it again. Alyssa Farah is a bimbo. She is willing to sell herself to the highest bidder and change her whole whatever she was pushing. She's no longer conservative. She needs to remove that title. She is not a conservative. She is not a Republican.
Right.
And she's willing to sell herself to CNN and The View for whatever they'll pay her to say whatever they want her to say. That's what she is. She's a bimbo, trashy hooker. I can't stand her. And this is why people like Trump, because he doesn't do that. He is authentic. He is the same no matter what. When he ran in 2016 against the establishment Republicans, he talked about the Bushes. He talked about everyone the same way he is doing now. He has not changed. And this is why Americans will trust him over lying, flip-flop Kamala Prompter Harris. I am so done with this. You know, and in a way, I feel sorry for the everyday American because they have a lot to overcome in order to get to the truth. We have a media, a corrupt media that is clearly in line with the Democrat Party. The culture, movies, music, everything pushes you to the left. And so you have to be very strong-minded to be either independent or a Republican. You do. Yeah. And there's a lot you have to push forward, push past.
You do. In a sense, we are flexing our muscles, if you will. We're growing our muscles. We're doing the resistance, right? We're literally fighting against and be resisting against all of this culture, to be subsumed in it and to be consumed by it, sucked in, literally sucked in to this abyss, this black hole. So we have to do that. It takes effort. It takes energy to make sure that your mind is clear, that your mind has truth. Yeah, we hear some funny things. You hear some, maybe some weird stuff, whatever. But you have to really work against it mentally as well as physically to keep your mind on at least an even keel, to have a fighting chance in this cesspool of a culture that is dominated by the left, our media, the Democratic Party, and all of the perversions that they just let out of the bag 24/7.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is why we have this podcast. You guys saw, I wanted to show clearly that Kristen Welker from Meet the Press is totally biased. And anyone who watched those two interviews should be able to see she did not press Representative Khanna like she pressed Tom Cotton. Nope. I mean, it was like night and day. And this is why we want to show it. And this is why we're here. Our mantra for 2024 is for you guys to be aware and prepare. That is what we're trying to do. We want to make you aware of all of these things and then prepare. How do we prepare for it? We vote like our lives depend on it. And it does. Yeah. Our lives depend on it in this election. Because if Kamala Harris and the lying Democrats get back into office, they're going to use this as a mandate to push forward their Marxist policies. So we have to push back against it. And one person that is pushing back and putting out the facts clearly, I call him now the great communicator, Vivek Ramaswamy.
Yes, I love Vivek.
Take a look at this. He lays it out as far as how Kamala needs to be pushed by the media. This is clip number 8.
You brought up some claims about Kamala Harris. I want to finish that discussion. She said she didn't favor a ban on fracking now. The reality is she was one of the strongest proponents of that ban, so much so that when she was in California, she sued the Obama administration over granting fracking permits. She didn't just favor the abolition of private health insurance. She was a co-sponsor of the bill with Bernie Sanders as a U.S. Senator for Medicare for All for Americans. The reality is, when you think about the Green New Deal, she was the chief proponent, not just as a co-sponsor of the legislation, but going further and saying she would end the filibuster in the Senate to ram that through. So the reality is she can say what she wants to say now. Those are actions she has taken. Is someone allowed to evolve? Of course they are. But she deserves to explain exactly why she's changed those positions, exactly what her position is. If it's not a ban on fracking, what exactly is it? What exactly is her healthcare plan if she no longer favors abolishing private health insurance, which just 4 short years ago when she ran for president, she did? And that's the kind of scrutiny that's been missing. I think Donald Trump has received plenty of scrutiny, and I give credit to him for sitting for hostile interviews that Kamala Harris has not.
Yeah. Yeah. Trump went to the National Association of Black Journalists. Trump does press conferences where the media pounds him, asking him all kinds of questions. He has made himself available for the American people, whether you agree with him or not. Exactly. You have to give him credit for doing that. He has done that. He has made himself available. Kamala Harris has not. She has not.
You know where Trump stands. Good, bad, or indifferent, like it or love it, or not. You know where he stands. Anybody, people say they like truth and they want people to be authentic and real. But why is it that you can't handle the truth, as they say? You can't handle the truth. You need, many of you in America, in the country, and the people that I love, many of you need to be coddled and, swaddled and bubbleized. I'm calling it like bubble wrap, all this bubble wrap. You need to be protected from everything. You can't handle a man telling you he wants to be president and here's why, here are my policies, versus a little phony wench woman who thinks she can come up with all the fakery that you can muster and that she's not even telling you what her policies are. Go to her website. Zero. She's asking for your money, but she doesn't tell you one thing. Her and what's his name? Walls. Yeah. Nothing. They're sitting there, they're smiling, looking giddy, but they don't even think of you enough to say that you are a capable, intelligent adult, able to make a decision, able to discern pros and cons. No, but give me your damn money. And that's what I'll do. That's all I'm going to do.
Yeah. I want to acknowledge our super chatters. Thank you guys so much. I want to talk to a big dog. Yes.
Thank you.
Says many of these establishment Republicans are the ones destroying y'all's party. Navarro, Farah are examples. Come the independent side, ladies.
Come to. Okay.
Okay. Terry.
Hi, Terry. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Certainly appreciate you.
Kung Fu's back.
Yes, Kung Fu CJ says fracking on federal land. Fracking is done in the ocean. The Fed does not own the ocean. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Thank you. P. Cool. I really can't believe how people listen to the media and don't know they're being lied to. Shaking my head. Yeah.
If you only listen to one, maybe one channel or a main, that's all you listen to, then you will never know.
Yeah. But like we said, this thing runs deep. It's not just the media. It's cultural icons. A lot of people are swayed by the culture, by celebrities. They are all in line with the left. And speaking of one is Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. So I'm not sure if you guys have been following this story, but recently the Daily Mail reported Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce has found himself at the center of a growing online storm after an alleged contract surfaced claiming his relationship with the Hollywood elite Taylor Swift was nothing more than a staged PR stunt. So if you guys recall, right when the election season was just starting, everyone was talking about how Taylor Swift, there was news articles talking about how Taylor Swift was going to sway the election. She and her fans were going to be very in control or influencing in this election. And so then that's when it came out that she was dating the Kansas City Chiefs quarterback or whatever I'm not sure if he's a tight end. He's a tight end. And so this was all over media. She came out against Trump. That played out. And so there were news articles saying that her fans were going to all vote for Kamala Harris and so on and so forth. Well, guess what? It was all a lie. A leaked document states, again, from the Daily Mail, says a planned breakup date of September 28th has already been set and strategized. The rumors began swirling after a document alleged bearing the letterhead of Kelsey's PR firm Full Scope PR, a Los Angeles-based public relations company, began making the rounds on social media. So again, I mean, this kind of stuff doesn't sway me, but it does sway a lot of people, especially young voters. And so, again, this is all part of the matrix.
The mirage.
Right. They created this relationship because they know that people would follow it. People are, really into these celebrities dating. They won the Super Bowl. So that was already getting a lot of publicity. And they fabricated this whole relationship just to sway people.
Malcolm X told us, God rest his soul, decades ago, that, basically, I'm paraphrasing, of course, entertainers, celebrities, actors, whomever, basically, who anointed them that we should follow them for our policies, to run our lives. This is what happens. Again, this bubble tube, social media, TV, cable, whatever, if all you're listening to and all you're getting your cues from are the people that you see on the screen, even us, we encourage you all the time. Don't just take our word for it. Go and research, compare, whatever. We say that regularly. But if you think these people are somehow, because they have more money and so-called power and fame and fortune, that they are better than you, that they know more than you, that what they say should be how you live and run your lives, then you are up the creek without a paddle. You're just losing all sense of reality. And technically, and I think even beyond that, you will lose your own damn mind.
Yeah, and I want to acknowledge our super chatters. I did see another super chatter there. Let's see here. We have Kung Fu again. Thank you so much. Says Walsh families don't even vote Democrat. Right? Not sure if
his brother. I think
right.
His cousin something.
Recently, they took a photo. His I don't know if it's his immediate family, but his extended family. It was like 5 of them came out with shirts that says Walsh for Trump. So yeah, but we don't see that. It hasn't been pushed out in the media because they're trying to, quiet that story.
But they'll put out a Trump family member when they don't agree with him or they don't support him.
Absolutely. Another super chatter here. Thank you guys so much. We have here, let me see. I thought we had another one.
I thought we did too. It was LAPD, I think it was.
Okay. Oh, LAPD SWAT once. You ever notice the men on MSNBC, CNN don't have any bass in their voice? Oh, well, speaking of that, I want to go back to Roland Martin. Guys, I mean, Roland Martin is a major figure in Black media, African-American media. He shames anyone. As we mentioned, the gentleman we had at the top of the show, Jamal Green, came out and he didn't even say he was supporting Trump. He just said he was questioning Kamala Harris's record. And Roland Martin, who is a surrogate for Kamala Harris, came out against him. These men, speaking to what you said here, that they don't have any bass in their voice. Well, take a look at this. This is a clip that Roland Martin did not mean to get out. Clip number 12.
Let me go ahead and play this one for y'all. Check this out.
About your opponent, Donald Trump. I was a little bit surprised. People might be surprised to hear that you have never interacted with him, met him face to face. That's going to change soon. But what I want to ask you about is what he said last month. He suggested that you happened to turn Black recently for political purposes, questioning a core part of your identity.
Yeah. Same old tired playbook. Next question, please.
That's it?
That's it.
About your opponent, Donald Trump. Okay. I was a little bit surprised. People might be surprised to hear that
we ain't
you
doing
have never
this.
Interacted with him, met him.
It's next question.
So, you guys, it looks like he didn't know that the clip was going to end so fast, and he was watching. It appears some type of gay, and I'm not sure we can say it online.
Well,
but the P word.
Well,
he's a married man.
Well, you said somebody said they don't have any bass in their voice, but Roland damn sure didn't have any drawers on his balls either. So, or that picture didn't. So I don't know, bass, drawers, but cover it up, Roland. I thought that was hilarious. Pornography he's watching. I guess it's pornography. Looked like, I don't know, the man was walking into the tunnel to a little love nest there. I thought it was hilarious. And I don't believe for 1 minute that it was a mistake.
Oh, I think it was.
Oh no. I think he was faking that. I think he was, no, I don't think it was a mistake that he turned it on. I think he was watching it while the clip was playing. That's what I mean.
Oh yeah. I don't think he meant for it to come on. So the viewers,
right.
He has a podcast on YouTube and he was streaming his podcast, and then I guess the clip stopped and he accidentally showed what he was watching on another screen, perhaps. I don't know, but it wasn't his wife. So I mean,
it was a naked man, the emperor with no clothes.
Yeah,
that's what it was. A naked man. You didn't. It was a naked man, emperor with no clothes, like I said. Ass out.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Literally. And so this is what, but these are the type of men that the Democrat Party pushes on us. They shame men who want traditional families, who they shame heterosexual men, and they do this. This is what they do. So it needs to be called out. And speaking of these men, we here at Papa Politics, we're pushing out a new podcast called Just the Guys. It won't be us, but it will be some of the guys that we affiliate with here within Poppin' Politics, and they're pushing out a conservative podcast. It will premiere tomorrow night right here on YouTube, Just the Guys. So go and subscribe if you can. It's called Just the Guys Podcast. Yes. All right. So moving right along, I want to move on to, let me see here one second, immigration. So, guys, the news has been all over the place with these illegals flooding the country from Chicago to New York City to Denver. And so my question is, should Americans care? Should Americans care? So the New York Post recently reported that migrants were flooding New York City's justice system, making up 75% of arrests in Midtown, as pathetic sanctuary city laws handcuff cops. This is the headline on the New York Post. It says Jefferson Maldonado, a 31-year-old migrant from Ecuador, has been arrested in New York City 5 times since arriving in the U.S. earlier this year. His latest bust was for stealing a pair of pants and a beer from the Target near Herald Square. Asked why he committed the crime, the migrant thief said, "I wanted to change my clothes and think. I wanted to sit down and think about my life, about what to do, because this is not a normal life." He was just one of 5 migrants in Manhattan courtroom for arraignment one night last week. Again, according to the New York Post, across New York, recently arrived migrants are flooding the criminal justice system at far higher rates than public officials have acknowledged. It says here's an estimate that as many 75% of the people they've been arresting in Midtown Manhattan in recent months for crimes like assault, robbery, and domestic violence are migrants. Shelley, why aren't more Americans talking about this?
I think Americans are talking, a couple of things are going on. I think Americans are talking about it, but the media is not showing that. I think the media is censoring those who are against this, basically our country being overrun. That's number one. Number two, again, our media is the culprit. But number two, we need to find ways to speak out about it on alternative media forums like our channel and others, like our channel. We need to get the truth out. And the truth is, I don't believe that the statistics that I read today, I think there are many more, even more than you said 75%. That was in, I think, Denver or wherever. But I think there are many more, according to the FBI stats, there are many more illegals, because they call them migrants, they call them undocumented. They are illegals. There are many more that are reported, even as of 2024. It says only about 15,000 or so, almost 16,000 have been arrested. I think that's many more. But I also think they're not counting many of them. They don't. They may arrest them, but they don't charge them. They don't finish the process. They do a catch and release, basically. So therefore, that crime is not necessarily counted in the numbers.
Yeah, I agree. And not only that, but Democrats are denying that this is taking place. You guys have, I'm sure, seen the video footage from Colorado, Denver, Colorado, to be specific, Aurora, where Governor Jared Polis, a Democrat, claimed last Wednesday that reports that a violent Venezuelan gang called Tren de Aragua has invaded parts of the state are largely the figment of a city councilwoman's imagination. They are denying that this is taking place. But look at this. This is clip 9. Take a look.
So there are several buildings actually under the same ownership, out-of-state ownership, that have fallen to these Venezuelan gangs. I'm trying to walk it back and do the investigation as to how there's a concentration of Venezuelans in these 3 buildings. Somebody put them there, and somebody funded it. Whether it's federal government or not, we're trying to find out who. These gangs apparently are attracted to where there's a concentration of Venezuelan migrants, and so they've in fact have kind of pushed out the property management through intimidation and then collected the rents. We have now or have had it is ongoing operations with a task force of local law enforcement, state law enforcement partners, and federal law enforcement partners to root them out, and arrests have been made, but these operations are still ongoing.
With the arrests that have been made, are these confirmed gang-affiliated members?
You know, this is an organized criminal effort. Whether it's Tren de Aragua, that remains to be seen. But it really doesn't matter. I mean, if they're Venezuelan migrants and they're conducting crime in an organized manner, they're a problem.
So
I mean, again, that was a stupid question. I don't care the on, death, trois, quatre, cinq, whatever gang it is. Like they said, they're Venezuelan migrants and they are destroying and vandalizing and committing criminal acts in the city.
Right.
So
again, I think there are millions more migrants. Let me take that back. Illegals here. They call them migrants and undocumented. And according to a Pew Research, I did a little bit of math, just a little bit, some basic math. So I don't have exact numbers. If there are about 11 million illegal immigrants here as of 2022, and then you do some math, some basic math again. Take away half of Americans. Americans is about 50 million people. Half of that would be adults, so 175 million people. Then the migrants, what they call them, the migrants are committing crimes. If Americans commit crimes at 8%, then the immigrants, the illegals, have to be committing more than that. So it's way more than 16,000 or whatever people committing crimes according to the FBI statistics. It's over 1 million, from my estimates, my rubric, if you will, my rudimentary math calculations. It's over 1 million plus immigrants, illegal immigrants committing crimes every day. And who's getting hurt? Americans, innocent Americans, children, adults, wherever, your loved ones, our loved ones. And I don't for 1 second believe that mayor doesn't know how they got there. I don't believe that. And I don't believe that a SWAT team, a sniper team cannot go in there and clear out that building. Those properties belong to the Denver people there, the property owners, Coloradans. They own that. So now not only are they coming into our country, they are taking our land, literally. They are literally taking our land. And the data is not claiming that doesn't show that because they're not reporting it. Even our own FBI and Border Patrol statistics, I contend, are utterly wrong and undercounted.
Yeah. And again, this governor, Jared Polis, is a Democrat. His office was asked whether it would like to retract its previous statements after this video, and of course the overwhelming evidence of TDA's presence in Aurora. But Wyman replied that the governor really hopes that the city council members in charge stop trashing their own city when they are supposed to keep it safe. So this is their response to something like this. I mean, this is all over the place, guys. It's not just in Colorado. We have it going on here in Maryland. They're in Chicago. New York. I mean, this is a real issue. And we can't trust Kamala Harris to support our border, to guard our border.
Does she even know where it is?
Right, exactly. So, I mean, this is scary times. It's scary times. We have another super chatter here. Thank you so much.
You.
Yes, Big Dog says, Rolly coming out of the closet. I know.
Please put it back. Please
Big
put
Dog
it back in
says,
the closet.
Our Black people in many cases are politically ignorant, especially the ones who made our Sawyer by identity politics, celebrities and athletes.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what they do. That's what they use. And you know what? The saying goes, the dog bites you the first time, it's the dog's fault. Dog bites you the second time, it's your fault. I mean, we've been doing this for decades, for generations. Black people have to wake up and realize it's a grift. It's a grift. How many times you gonna fall for the old, they bringing over the celebrities and they're dancing and doing the latest dances and trends and things like that. I mean, the woman doesn't have anything on her website.
Zero. We got another super chat.
Yes, thank you, Teresa. When they say we don't hate the media enough, they are not wrong.
Good point.
Yeah, that is a very good point. Very good point. So I want to move on here to Trump. So we talk about, before I do that, I want to also talk about our memberships, guys. We do have these memberships. Become a freedom seeker. If you want to support our podcast, again, we try to bring you all of the information that people are not pushing in mainstream media. We do this here. Join our freedom seekers. You get cool emojis and other things as part of the Freedom Seeker Club membership. It's right there on our YouTube front of the YouTube page to join.
Join.
Yes. So that again, we were talking about how Kamala Harris has not done any real press. She has not taken any questions from the media, nothing on her website, but yet and still, Trump still is out here talking to Americans. He's been doing podcasts, like these very popular podcasts. He's been sitting down. They ask him whatever they want to ask him, and he answers it. And here he is again on the Lex Fridman, right. Lex Fridman podcast. He was on there just Tuesday, in which he fielded a variety of questions about foreign policy, the 2020 election, and his vision for the country going forward. Take a look at this. This is where he's talking about Epstein. This is clip number 6.
Do that. There's a moment where you had some hesitation about Epstein, releasing some of the documents on Epstein. Why the hesitation?
I don't think I'm not involved. I never went to his island, fortunately. But a lot of people did.
Why do you think so many smart, powerful people allowed him to get so close?
He was a good salesman. He was, was a hale and hearty type of guy. He had some nice assets that he'd throw around, like islands. But a lot of big people went to that island. But fortunately, I was not one of them.
It's just very strange for a lot of people that the list of clients that went to the island has not been made public.
Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? Probably will be, by the way. Probably.
So if you're able to, you'll be...
Yeah, I'd certainly take a look at it. Now, Kennedy's interesting because it's so many years ago. They do that for danger, too, because, endangers certain people, et cetera, et cetera. So Kennedy is very different from the Epstein thing. But, yeah, I'd be inclined to do the Epstein. I'd have no problem with it.
That's great to hear.
Wow. Guys, this is scary stuff because we know people who have been involved in the Epstein client list, people who say they want to, you see what they did to Epstein. So Trump is saying he would make the client list public.
Consider it, yeah. One of the things I think a lot of people don't understand about President Trump, or maybe you do, I shouldn't say that. I think President Trump's, one of his initial reactions or guts is to not embarrass people and to not humiliate people. For instance, even during the scamdemic, when we were saying he should have fired so and so, he should have fired these people, and I do think he should have. But I think that I think he wants to portray, or at least go with a sense of loyalty first. I hired you. I want to at least play it out. The same thing he did with General Flynn. He stuck by him, and I'm not saying General Flynn was wrong in how it all went down, but I think that's what he's expressing here when he said, I would consider, not releasing it because other people may be in danger. So I think, to President Trump's credit, that's one of his primary instincts, if you will, at least to not embarrass people, humiliate, or maybe put people in danger, at least initially. That's what I think. However, comma, to Lex Fridman's question, why do you think so many powerful people were taken in, or however he worded it? Unfortunately, that is a human flaw. Humanity. Many humans in general, we have this flaw that we are in awe, if you will, not to rhyme, but we are in awe of people who are powerful, who are wealthy, who we deem as, again, famous, and we put them on this pedestal. We do. This is a human flaw. We're taken in easily by that, and if we're not careful, we can get subsumed, if you will, by that fame or that aura. This is why it's important to be able to, what I call, deal with, in most of life, real people in real life in real time. It helps, for me, it helps keep me grounded.
Yeah, I agree. But there also are credible allegations that Epstein was a CIA plant and that he was blackmailing many of these high-powered people for the government. And so, that's very likely that was what was going on. But guess what? Trump did not go to the island.
Right.
And so this is why President Trump is such a threat to the establishment, to the deep state, because he is not entangled in many of their globalist governmental shenanigans. And so this is why they are trying every way possible to keep him out of the White House. And guys, we need to continue to pray for this man.
Yeah.
We really need to keep him lifted up in prayer, because I mean, even if he wins the election, they're going to try every way it's not over after November, what was it?
But November 5th, absolutely.
It's not over.
He has he's going to be sentenced, I think, in a couple of weeks, right? I'm still, from the sentencing from before, I'm still standing, they're going to put that man in jail, or they're going to give him, let me say it this way, they're going to give him some time. Now, they might suspend the sentence, they might make him stay for a weekend or whatever, but that judge is going to give him some time.
Yeah. And I do want to acknowledge our chatter here. We have Lady Dummy. We have a Lady Dummy on here who we have been saying, here she is, the D is for dick dumb. I mean, she's a limp dick dumb woman.
Lady D.
And she doesn't know what she's talking about. We have laid out nothing but facts since we've been out here. So if you want to continue on and take the hook, line, and sinker of the Democrat Party, go right ahead, Lady Dummy.
I'll give you credit, Lady D, that you are tuning into us, because this is your alternative media that you're getting facts from that you won't get from the MSNBC and CNNs, whatever. You won't get that. And Lady D, let me say this. You're one of the ladies, I'm guessing, I don't know what you are, because you said, you pointed out that we're black, whatever. But whatever you are, you're one of the people who are helping to destroy our country. That's what you're doing. And yes, I will say that. I wish you could come on our show and have a conversation with us. I would love it.
Yeah, I would too. Yeah, and I apologize for calling you a limp dick dummy.
Well, I hope you don't have a dick as a lady. I hope you're not a dick pretending to be a chick.
Well, I think you're a slave. You're slave-minded. You're caught up in the idolatry of race. And so, we don't have that chain around our necks, that chain around our ankles. We are free-minded women that speak truth, that research things and understand that the Democrat Party has not done anything for our communities, for our cities where they hold governorships and mayorships and things like that. we understand that. We've seen it. We've lived it.
Right.
So, you can't tell us
We're not the ones begging, borrowing and stealing for somebody to like us because we're black or give us this because we're black. No, we actually get out here and make our own way with our families and our friends and our community. That's what we actually do. So Lady D, you can take all that little dumb stuff you're talking, that little race trope stuff. We really laugh at that because we've heard it all, right? I mean, we've heard it all, okay? But we would still love to talk with you. Unlike your famous president, the one you're probably voting for, who doesn't even think you're smart enough to handle an argument or a policy, we would love to actually discuss those with you.
And let me tell you something. We reach out to people on the left all the time. I go into chats. I send emails to people. Nobody wants to come on here and discuss and debate the issues.
Right.
I mean, if you are someone that can come on and actually intelligently debate the issues,
can and she won't.
Please come. We can't find any leftists.
You can't and you won't.
Yeah, we can't even find anybody to come on
You
here.
said you won't say anything. Okay, because you're not stupid. Fine. Prove you're not stupid. Have a conversation with us. Well, maybe you're not. I don't know. I'm not saying
come
you're
on.
stupid. You called us by our skin color as if that was the most important thing out of anything we've been saying here. We're asking you, Lady D, to come on the show and have this conversation with us. Don't be like Kamala running and hiding.
Right. But speaking of unhinged leftists, I want to bring you guys this video. So I want to change gears a little bit and talk about this exchange here. So before I roll this video, I want to at least give you guys a description of what's actually going on. This is a video of a leftist activist here in Baltimore City. And she is I think she was running for office at the time against Giovanni Patterson. He's a conservative activist in the city, and he was running as a Republican. And he posted a Facebook post basically talking about how one of the major issues within the Black community, because Baltimore is predominantly Black, is fatherlessness. We have very limited fathers, single mothers are 75% in the Black community. Yes. And we have an issue of fatherlessness. And that is one of the root causes of many issues that plague the Black community. And he was talking about that in a post, and an unhinged leftist saw it. And then this is where you are in this video. She's her name is Kelly Vaughn. Yeah. So take a look at this. This is what we deal with day in and day out from the left.
I want to read a quote really fast before we take the. This is from Giovanni Patterson. Someone asked me, well, what have you done for Baltimore? My answer is simple. I'm an active father to my children. Why is that important? Our communities are suffering because of the destruction of the family unit, not the lack of activism and so-called community involvement. Everything hinges on raising and grooming children that are able to think and do for themselves. Independence is contagious. Don't get me wrong, there are other things I do, but they're not done to answer the question, what have you done? They're done out of humility. Too many of our elected officials get by on their, quote, what they have done responses, then go take advantage of the citizenry, expecting you to look the other way because they've scratched your back. Now you need to return the favor. He's disgusting to me, because who thinks that if you just mind your business and raise your children, that Baltimore is going to be okay?
See what you are doing or have done, and you brushed it off and said it doesn't matter because then people will hinge off of what I have done as a point of record. And the most important thing is I can take care of my children. I have 3 boys myself, and that is very important. However, if I don't make my community better for my children, what a disservice I'm delivering to them.
Where's their father?
I'm sorry?
It is.
They're with their father right now, and I don't think that's any of your business. If I'm a strong single woman and I choose to be one, that's none of your business. I'm getting the job done for my 3 sons.
Come on down.
With
No,
that, I'm
it's
going
an
to
important
exit
point.
this because I'm getting ready to tell him off on camera.
Okay. So you saw you see what she was triggered her. She was triggered. You heard she say, I'm a strong, independent black woman and I choose to raise my kids independently. And when he asked, where was the father? She said she had to get off because she was about to cuss him out pretty much. Why? You know, if you ask where the father is, why would that be triggering to someone is beyond me. But you heard in the beginning, she was reading Giovanni, who is a conservative, his post on social media talking about, you know, the best thing he can do for his family is to be a father. She said that was disgusting. Why would she say that, Shelley?
I mean, I don't know why that would be disgusting to any woman. 99.99% of women want fathers for their children. Even single mothers want fathers and strong male role models for their children. So I don't know why that would be disgusting. I do know that Kelly, I think she's a little twisted in her own thinking because she's this strong, independent black woman. But more importantly, that statistics card that was shown at the end of that clip, these are the challenges and the problems directly correlated from the lack of fathers in the home, particularly in black children. Black families, black people in general, we are still at the bottom of the socioeconomic scale. When you don't have fathers in the home, particularly children, but boys even so, their education goes down. They tend to be more violent. They have lost economic opportunities. They tend to go into gangs and alternative lifestyles, if you will. All of these socioeconomic indicators are in the negative, particularly for black people when there are no fathers in the home. We need fathers. Single women, you need fathers for your children, whether you want to believe it or not. No, you cannot be the father and the mother. You're the mother and then there are fathers. It's a shame. It's shameful for our community that we don't have more fathers in the home raising their own children, whatever, making a family, because it ultimately hurts the children 10 times more. It really does.
Yeah. And what's happening is these women, predominantly black women, are being used by the Democrat Party because they're emotionally they have emotional trauma. And instead of them fixing that, getting to the root cause of that trauma, they choose to go it on their own, not have men in their lives. They choose to do it on their own. They can raise these children, bring these children into the world. And the Democrat Party encourages this because then they know that these women will eventually need government assistance because it's much harder to raise a family, on your own than if you had two-parent households. And it's a grift. The Democrat Party preys on these individuals. Yeah. They want them single. They want them unmarried because they know that, one, they'll probably be more inclined to support abortion, which is their number one ticket. Mm-hmm. Number two, the second one is LGBT. So these emotionally trauma damaged women, they can't find a man. So they usually get the next thing. They licking and slicking carpets as much as they can. That's the next thing they do. And so, again, the Democrat Party loves the carpet lickers. They love them. They love them because they know that, again, these are alternative lifestyles. And generally, most of them are not religious. That's against Marxism. Democrats are pushing Marxism. These people are more prone to Marxism, more prone to want government handouts and things like that. This is the bottom line. I mean, you may not want to hear it, but it's the truth.
The largest voting bloc in the Democratic Party are single women and even more so single black women.
Yeah.
Single black women. And so that should speak volumes. When you don't have a father for your children, you open yourself up and your children to a whole lot of vulnerabilities. Now, again, I know some of you are going to say, well, there's some men, yeah, I get it. There's bad women, there are bad men, right? I get it. I call them evil spawn. Some of the children are just evil too. However, the majority of the time, it works in the best interest of the woman, the family, the children, the community. That's just a fact. fact.
Yeah, and the crazy thing about it, though, is a lot of these women are very bitter. They're very bitter and they're miserable. And again, the Democrat Party plays on this. They're trying to push this as normal. They're trying to push this as mainstream, and it is not. The normal, it is an alternative. It is a last resort. It is not something that we should be a goal to raise children without fathers. It's not. Widows are one thing. Things happen, but this should not be the main goal of our society, to raise children as single mothers. It should not. I mean, I think Candace Owens did a show on this a couple weeks ago talking about there's this whole thing going around now where this is a thing to I forget the name of it. It was like raising single on purpose or something like that. Single moms on purpose or something like that. This should not be. And the crazy thing is it was something that was really pushed in the Black community, but now it's starting to creep over as a normalcy in the white community as well. So again,
we tend to
we're giving a disadvantage. We're bringing them in a disadvantage.
And then some of those same people or people types will have the audacity to say the government needs to give me this, or the government owes me this. The government's supposed to take. Well, if the government is raising your children, if they're feeding them, clothing them, educating them, housing them, then the government owns your children. Well, I mean, hell, what say do you have?
Right. And it's not, it goes against natural order. It goes against the design, not only that God has for us, but the animal kingdom. I mean, you need a male and a female to raise healthy children. Now, again, I know things happen. I understand that. But we have gone from accidents, we have gone from alternatives, to that being the goal.
On purpose.
And it's a perversion, it's Marxist, and it is ruining our society because now we are creating a generation of men, really men, but also women that are damaged. They are damaged. And let me tell you this, and I'm going to let you go. I am a product of a single mother.
Me too.
I was raised by a single mother.
Me too.
But my mother that was not the goal.
Exactly.
She did not say this is the
this is what you do.
This is
the way you do it. It wasn't promoted.
Right. It was not promoted. It was not promoted. And she tried to instill in us that for us as young women to go out and you want to you have a husband find you. This is what the natural order of things. But now that's all out the window.
And sad to say, KJ, in a lot of Black churches, the opposite is preached as well. And so I think this is where why a lot of Black, particularly Black single women, they get reinforced in promoting this on purpose, having children without a father, without a husband mindset, because a lot of churches actually promote that.
Yeah. And again, this was something that my mother continued to say it's not easy. Exactly. It was not easy.
Exactly.
And she made it clear that it was not easy. But this is how the Democrat Party is the grift. Because then they try to provide government assistance. They try to provide with the culture, movies saying, glamorizing single motherhood, glamorizing this. And so they create a lie. It is a lie that they are then trying to pass on from generation to generation.
Making it look good.
And that's not, it's just not. So I do want to acknowledge our super chatters before we go, guys. So we have here, let's see here. Kung Fu, thank you.
Again.
There is no Jesus Christ in socialism and communism. Absolutely. Yeah, you're correct. COVID-19, the attitude displayed by Kelly Vaughn is the main reason many Black men don't live with their children. We don't call that out enough. Yeah, that's a whole another episode.
Yeah, that's a whole other episode. We talked about that before.
Yeah, it's sad. But there's some truth there. There is some truth there. So again, guys, thank you for all those that joined the memberships, the freedom seekers here with us. We certainly appreciate you doing that. It does go a long way in supporting our channel. Thank you so much in supporting us to produce more conservative content.
Yep.
We will be back on Friday this week. We'll be back with more of Poppin' Politics. Check out Just the Guides podcast tomorrow night.
And don't forget, we have merchandise coming. Check out our site. We will have merchandise.
Absolutely. We certainly will. And so again, as I always say, count your blessings and live a life of purpose. Good night. What's up, guys? We are the ladies of Pop and Politics. And guess what? We have merchandise.
We got merch. We got merch.
Check it out.
Check it out.
We have a website, www.popandpoliticslive, where you guys can pick up the latest merchandise that we have here. Here's something. I use this every morning for my cup of tea. It's a Pop and Politics mug. Yeah, I drink every morning tea. And I love it. So definitely check it out. We've got some cute shirts on there. Shelly, you have a shirt there that you love, right? Yes, cute shirt. And so definitely check it out. Again, www.popandpoliticslive.com. Appreciate the support. All right.
Go there now.
Yes.
There you go.